When was the last time you opened your phone for no obvious reason? Not to check a message, not for anything urgent, but just because. Maybe during a 10-second pause, or maybe during every restless moment, or maybe a minute ago before I came on stage. That tiny restless moment, how often does it happen to all of us? And it's that space, that instant before the swipe, that I want to talk about. Because I believe if we pause right there may be an opportunity waiting for us. An opportunity that might hold the key to our next evolution. Not technical, but human. In this age of AI, maybe our next opportunity isn't faster intelligence, but clarity and peace of mind. What if a pause isn't wasted time at all? What if a pause is actually our new progress? So I love science and technology. As a young boy, I wasn't particularly good-looking, nor strong or fast, but hey, I did have my brains. I studied physics, started my career in tech, helping organizations adopt whatever is next. And I was one of those consultants. Weeks of data analysis, models, slides, late nights, pixel-perfect titles, and then a 9 AM review to change it for a happy customer. And I've always been drawn to what I refer to as the fundamentals. Telecommunications, allowing people to connect and communicate. Public cloud, offering infrastructure to organizations so they can innovate. And now AI, the next fundamental, transforming how we think and create. And as Max Bennett beautifully writes in his book, A Brief History of Intelligence, every leap in human evolution has been a story of extending the mind. And you could say that we've been increasingly using technology to shape the way we think, live, and work all along. And now with AI, expanding our intelligence and growing it with systems that help us to think and act. But to work with it wisely, we have the opportunity, and I would argue the responsibility, to reflect upon ourselves and develop human wisdom. And this is where it becomes personal again. Because for me, there was always that second part, restless, nervous, and never quite satisfied. Always chasing for the next project, the next accomplishment, the next thing that would finally bring me peace of mind. And of course, it never did. So I went ways looking to fix it. I traveled, met interesting people, and tried all kinds of practices. And then I came across a monk, a Buddhist monk called Bhante Vimalaramsi. And I signed up for a retreat. And after the first day of meditation, I carefully prepared my interview with him. And I had notes, the full diagnostic. And I thought, this is my moment. I'm going to walk in, I will have more questions, he will have the answer, and I will get my peace. So I walked in, I paid respect, and I said to him, Bhante, I'm still having challenges. My father passed away. I have a hearing impairment. I'm restless since childhood, and there's stress at work. And he looked at me. Kind eyes, calm voice, and he said, yes. And we're all going to die. You can imagine the look on my face. That remark truly landed. And it also made me realize working harder is not going to bring me peace or make me more productive. We all have challenges in our life, and some more than others. And they're different, yes. But we all have our struggles. Or put differently, our personal context is unique. A level of suffering is universal. And after that retreat, I went all in. I even briefly ordained as a Buddhist monk. And although putting on the ropes is its own lesson, it's not going to bring peace by itself. Because the real work is training the mind. Whether you're in a monastery or in a meeting room, the mind still wanders. The wanting and striving helped our ancestors to survive and to adapt. But now, that same forward-leaning energy often just keeps us busy and restless. And with AI on our side, it knows exactly how to keep our attention. 5 more seconds, 2 more posts, and then it's dinner time. Today, my consulting slides can be generated in 5 minutes. As long as I have the clarity about the what and the why I want to create. It turns out, clarity saves more time than coffee ever did. So it's no longer a question of how much we want, but what we want and why. And as AI grows in intelligence and doing, our next opportunity may not be about doing more, but about being. Reflect on our wanting and directing our attention wisely. So what do? Life keeps on moving, the phone keeps buzzing, and dinner still needs to be made. How do we develop a clear and steady mind in the midst of every day? Do we just try to focus harder, like pushing a ball in the water until it bursts back up? And what if proven ancient human techniques can help us with our evolution in human intelligence? And here's the thing. The distraction itself is not the problem. It's there. That's the reality. And the jumping from one thing to the next, that is what's often called the monkey mind. Now, what are we going to do? Are we going to feed the monkey mind bananas? Or are we going to develop it? The word mindfulness comes from the Pali word sati, which literally means memory or to remember. But to remember what? It is that moment that you remember your mind is distracted that you have the opportunity. And that is your opportunity to pause, relax, let go of the attention, and come back to what you were doing. That is training the mind, and that is getting a moment of peace and clarity right there. So mindfulness is not so much about focus. Mindfulness is about to observe how our attention moves from one thing to the next. So it's that moment that you realize your hand is reaching for the phone. That's the opportunity to pause. And that pause itself is your training. And over time, with practice, your mind will become less distracted, more collected, and distractions simply lose their grip. And you will be able to have your attention for a longer period of time. And now you can start picking up your phone for a reason. Not because of 10 empty seconds to fill. And this is mental development. This is something that we can train ourselves every day. And that's the thing. Mindfulness is not about a focus on the light. It's about letting go of the darkness. And people often think that mindfulness is only to be trained on a cushion. And yes, meditation is the form of practice, and I can highly recommend it. But we can, and I argue we should, practice all day. You don't have to be a monk. You don't have to hit your next milestone. This is not mystical. You can train this while walking, cooking, or listening to a TEDx talk. I believe this may have been one of the longest pauses during a TEDx talk. And I hope you have experienced a glimpse of pause being the new progress. And in this time of artificial intelligence, let's also develop human wisdom. And now you can decide if you want to pick up your phone. Thank you.